Hi, this is Russell Stunner from teachertrainingvideos.com. Today we're going to look at delivering a webinar, and what I'm going to try and do is show you how to make the delivery of your webinar a little bit more engaging. I first started working with webinar tools in about 2008, and I did a lot of training of the staff and the lecturers at the University of Warwick when I was working there in using a range of different webinar tools. The one I'm going to use in today's presentation is called Clickmeeting, which is the one I'm currently using. I've used many of these tools. I quite like Clickmeeting, and so I'm going to use this for this presentation. What I'm going to show you is just a few tricks that can help to avoid making the presentation on a webinar very static. So there's a few secrets, a few tricks that we can use to make it a lot more engaging, and particularly to get the participants more engaged in the process. Really hope you like the video, and as always, if you do, please like it, please share it with other teachers and students, and if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will do my best to reply to them. Let's get started. Now I'm going to have to turn the webcam off, because the webcam that you can see here, that's actually the webcam of the system that I'm using, which is Clickmeeting, so that will suffice for both purposes. So let's imagine that we're delivering a presentation. We've got one person in the room, and I'm going to show you a couple of times what it actually looks like for the person in the room. What I want to show you is, and this is what I notice a lot when I watch webinars, is that teachers tend to do a presentation. So they will go from page 1 to page 2 to page 3 of their presentation, and they'll just click through the presentation and talk about it, and that's fine, but that obviously is there's not much interaction taking place between the participants and the presenter, and there's very little variety. So what we need to really do to produce variety is to kind of stage the presentation and make sure that we're making use of a lot of the different tools that can make the presentation a little bit more interesting. Now, the obvious thing to do, for example, is that sometimes during the presentation, these are the key tools to use, okay? So at the moment I'm in presentation mood, but then suddenly I might want to play a video. So then I will jump over to the video button here, and I've already got the video ready, and then I can play that video. So straight away I've changed the focus from me presenting to playing a video. Okay, and I always have everything prepared. Now after that video, then I might move into another mode. That mode might be, for example, me then jumping to the interactive whiteboard, and I've got the interactive whiteboard ready. I can start to draw and write on it or interact on the screen immediately. Okay, so I'm always prepared with all of these things that I can jump from one thing to the other. Now there might be points in the session as well when I want to, for example, bring up a question onto the screen, and again most of the webinar tools have this facility. If we come down here, suddenly bang, I can click on survey, and I've actually got a survey prepared, and I get the students to answer the questions. So it's absolutely key that you have these tools ready, and that adds a lot of variety to the way you're doing the presentation. So it's not just you going through the PowerPoint, you're jumping to questions, you're watching a YouTube, you might be using the chat window sometimes as well. Now the chat window is really important, and I often see people using the chat window in the wrong way as well, and I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of what you can do. Obviously, if you've got a moderator, no problem. You're doing the presentation, you don't have to worry about the chat. And every so often you can stop the presentation, and then the best thing to do then is to jump into this mode, okay? And say, right, I'm just going to stop now, let's go through the questions, and the moderator can tell you what the questions are. So that's something that I often use. I will literally be presenting, stop, and then have this time to go through the questions, okay? Now, that can be really difficult to do if you are working on your own and you don't have a moderator, but there's a couple of other tricks that you can do. I can actually turn the chat off, So at the moment the chat's not on. If I went over to the participant, if we looked at the participant who's participating now, we're now Tom Stannard. Okay, so we're now not me, we're actually looking at what one of the participants can see. You'll notice that there is no chat available. So I can control the chat as a presenter. Let me just come back to presentation mode. I can control the chat. Okay, and I can actually turn the chat off, and it's very simple for me to do. Here's the chat window. I can click here and just click on, and now the chat's available. So one of the things that I often do is if I'm working on my own, I will say to them, right, the chat's not going to be available, but I'm going to stop the presentation at a certain point and the chat will become available. So what I will do then is I'm doing my presentation, I will suddenly jump into AVI mode, say, right, okay, it's time to ask questions. Come here, click on this button and activate the chat window, and then suddenly now all the participants, let's go and jump to one of the participants, can actually now chat. So if I jumped over to this person here, suddenly the chat is open and they can actually say something. So it's really a matter of managing all of these facilities that we've got available to us that can make the session more interactive, using the questions, using the chat window, using the video, using the interactive whiteboard. In fact, many of these, there's even more tools here that we've got available if we want to go through them. But what I see a lot when I'm working or working with teachers and with professors, lecturers, working with these tools, is that they tend to just use the PowerPoint presentation and not add in that variety. Okay, so I've tried to give you some key tips there. Let's just go through them. One, use the chat window effectively. You can turn it on and off and control when people can write questions to you. Two, make use of all of these additional controls that you've got on the left-hand side in Clickmeeting. Other tools are in a different place, but most systems have a similar kind of idea of working. And make sure that you've got everything ready. So before you do your presentation, upload your PowerPoint, get your videos ready, get your questions ready, and think about within the presentation when you're going to stop and have questions. Make sure that when you ask questions to the students, when it is question time, that you jump from presentation mode to the AV view, therefore you're on the screen. Really hope that's helped you. If it has, please like the video, please share it with other teachers and other trainers, and if you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the space below and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you very much. Really hope that video was useful. Lots more free videos. If you come to teachertrainingvideos.com, you can just click on any of these topics here at the top, or just scroll down and you'll see some of the latest videos on the site. If you want to keep up with my work, the best thing to do is to sign up to the newsletter. You get updated with all of the webinars and the online courses and the blog posts and all the latest videos that I produce. So that's a great way to follow my work. And the other thing you can do is sign up to the YouTube channel. Then all the videos that go up onto YouTube, you'll be notified when they are uploaded there. Don't forget to click on the bell, that way you'll get updated. Finally, if you were thinking of asking me to come to your organization and either do a workshop or a presentation, or you wanted me to do some training with you online, either one-to-one or one-to-many, then please contact me and I will do my best to help you. And thank you very much.